It's hard to keep a good Tyler Perry movie down. Hell, it's hard to keep Tyler Perry down because he's back with Straw on Netflix. No, it's not a documentary about the best tool to use for drinking sodas and milkshakes, and it's not about the innards of an inorganic people who stand in cornfields or walk down yellow brick roads. This movie is about a woman who has one of the worst days a black person could possibly have, with just about all the cliche problems that could pop up for a black woman. She's a single mom with a daughter that has epilepsy, working 2 jobs, her boss hates her, she gets fired, a racist cop attacks her, she's threatened with eviction. Mind you, that's all within the first act. Then she winds up being incriminated in a murder and a bank robbery. So one can assume that Tyler Perry cleverly shortened the title from The Final Straw to just Straw. I guess kind of like The Weeknd shortened his stage name from Weekend to Weekend. The movie stars Taraji P. Henson, Sherri Shepherd, and Teyona Taylor. A Different World alums Glenn Turman and Sinbad have roles as well. This is Tyler Perry at his silliest and most excessive. Perry is really at his worst when he writes stories that involve real-life procedures, and for a brother that's worth about $1.4 billion, you'd think he'd shell out some cash on some consultants that could make sure he gets the procedures somewhat right. What am I talking about? Well, remember the film Mea Culpa with Kelly Rowland? She plays an attorney who apparently didn't know the first thing about procedures in the world of jurisprudence. That's because Tyler Perry didn't bother to get any legal consultants on the movie. In this film, Taraji P. Henson is involved in a bank robbery, which means we get a lot of police procedural that if you've just watched just one season of Law & Order or The Wire, you realize it's totally unrealistic. Henson plays the main character, Janiyah Wilkinson. Now, no doubt, Taraji P. Henson is a great actress, but here she reminds me of her timid character from the movie Hustle and Flow, except for those moments when she's screaming her head off. She comes off as extremely bipolar, and she either underacts, where she's just way too passive for what's going on, even for the day she's having, or she overacts with screaming and yelling, sometimes to a laughable degree. I'd say there's certainly a middle ground to be found for this character, but in a TP film, there's no such thing as a middle ground. Sherri Shepherd does a fine job as the branch manager of the local benevolent savings and loan bank, which Taraji ends up robbing. Shepherd is totally believable, and she comes off as the most realistic of all the characters in the situation they find themselves in. Now, I have to mention Glenn Turman and Sinbad. Man, it was really good to see both of these actors. Like I said, both of them starred in a different world, and it's great to see both of these actors back on screen after such a long time away. But I don't think Perry did either of them any favors having them play these characters the way they're written. It's always been a thing with Tyler Perry, and you Tyler Perry fans know that I'm telling the truth here, that if you're black in a Tyler Perry film and you're dark-skinned, chances are you're an evil son of a bitch, and Perry doubles down on that with Turman's character. So Glenn Turman plays the manager of the shopping mart where Janiyah works, and he channels Steven from Django Unchained the way he runs it. He runs it like he's a slave master. He's way over the top, almost to a comical degree. Now, seeing Sinbad in this movie is one of the reasons I can't hate on Tyler Perry. I really can't. I can't hate on him too much. This is Sinbad's first role, as far as I'm aware, since he suffered a massive stroke a few years ago. And it was Tyler Perry that hired him and gave him a job, so props to him for doing that. I just wish it could have been in a role that was a little bit more dignifying. Teyona Taylor, who is beautiful in this movie, she plays a detective who gains the trust of Janiyah during the bank standoff. Taylor starts off very bland. She delivers her lines in this really boring monotone. I think Tyler Perry directed her to be like one of those jaded type of seen it every day type of detectives that you do see in movies and TV sometimes. Just doesn't work here. But eventually she warms up and she brings life to her character. Or maybe it's just because the movie just got so bad, or she just wore me down, that the standards were lower and she just rose to the occasion. Her scenes with the FBI agent, there's an FBI agent who comes in, as they always do in these movies, and they try to take over from the local law enforcement. Her scenes with this guy and her squad leader are so unconvincing, it's just totally laughable. And like I say, with the plethora of cop shows and movies in the last 20 years, where they actually bother to hire consultants, people who work in the field and can advise as to how things would really go. And then maybe the director will say, well, we want to play up the drama here. Typically, a director will still follow the advice to make it believable. But the most ignorant viewer watching this film would realize none of it, or most of it, is totally inaccurate from a procedural standpoint. It's just Tyler Perry writing bits and pieces of cop code words he's heard in other productions. I have to say this in a side note. Just like in a lot of his movies, I talked about the dark-skinned black male. Well, if you're white in this movie, you're going to range from being an asshole to being a goofy character. If you're a white cop in this movie, well, you're straight up psychotic. The script goes to Three's Company sitcom misunderstanding territory in regards to a science project that Jania's daughter is working on. It just so happens that Jania brings this science project to the bank so she can take some money out to get her daughter some food at the lunch program at school. Of course, just piling on all of the misery for the black female character. So I'm not going to say anything more about the science project because I want you to see this foolishness with no spoiling whatsoever so you can enjoy how ridiculous it is. And the ending. The ending is a total ripoff of an M. Night Shyamalan movie. It has a twist that really is kind of stolen directly from one of Shyamalan's films. I'm not going to say which one because that will give it away. But the thing is, this very implausible ending, or very, I don't know what the word is, but it just seems out of manufactured. It could have worked. It did tug at my heartstrings a little bit. But I'm telling you, if Perry, and I say this about all his films, if he would have put a little bit more effort into writing real characters and not caricatures that beat us over the head to make a point, that ending may have worked. It still would have been derivative, and I still would have been like, oh, okay, well, I know exactly where you got that from. But it still could have worked. But as it is, everything is so over the top and unbelievable, it just makes me laugh. This movie could have been a John Q. Remember that movie with Denzel Washington? Or the classic movie with Al Pacino, A Dog Day Afternoon? But Tyler Perry can't help but ramp the melodrama up to an unbelievable degree and make the characters and situations cartoonish and over the top. I've always felt that Tyler Perry has never suffered from a lack of story ideas. He's just suffered from knowing how to write them into a good screenplay. But as he told Kenya Barris in the series from a couple years ago, Black AF,
I don't give a fuck.
So I'm going to have to give this movie 1.5 reels. I was thinking about bumping it up to 2 reels because there are some, well, there's one good performance in this movie. That's Sherri Shepherd. And you do see that Tyler Perry spent a little bit more money. There are scenes at the bank where you've got whole squads of police and law enforcement and FBI. So some money was spent, but unfortunately, no money was spent on consultation, on script rewrites. You get a sense that Tyler Perry wrote this script in maybe a week. And just no sense of how to write a character so that I and the rest of the audience can invest in him or her. All right, guys, take a look at Straw. Go check it out. It's on Netflix. Tell me what you think. As always, leave the comments below and go ahead and click that subscribe button so you can get more reviews from me and you can go back into the archives. I go all the way back as far as Captain America Winter Soldier. Go check it out. That's the Martini. I will see you again soon. Take care.